why don't you just get a job and be like everybody else and just go along to get along? And I said, my God did not bring me into this world to go along to get along. My God brought me here to be who I am and to do what I do. I have a high respect for the concept of the divine force in the universe that men call God. I believe that certain people are brought here purposely to do work, and so I have a very high regard for spiritual things.
But not for the whorehouse churches that are Illuminati controlled.
Right. Yeah, not for the corporation silly bull that we call the religions today, jumping around on stages and with their diamond rings and their effeminate haircuts and jumping around, falling down, and it's just an incredible display of stupidity. Think about this. If you were to go to a particular school for 40 years and study one subject for 40 years, and one day come out of that 40 years of study and can't even read or form a sentence correctly, and cannot hold an intelligent conversation with your fellow man, what kind of a school is that you've spent all your life in and can't even read? Well, the same thing is true with so many Christians who have been Christians all their life and spent all their life pursuing a church teachings and have no idea in the world what certain words mean, the etymology of words and terms and symbols, corporate logos, flags, harlotry, where concepts have come from.
The obelisk, it's all the complete opposite.
Totally opposite than what you think it is.
Well, I mean, that's the issue, and they have Benny Hinn and all those guys, and it's turned out they get government financing to start them off to make it look stupid, to actually turn spiritual people off. And I've noticed, I wanted to get your take on this, that the Illuminati, the globalists, are all, whether it's Ted Turner, Maurice Strong, Prince Philip, David Rockefeller, they're all deeply occultic, deeply into this, this Illuminati religion of killing their fellow humans for the greater good of Gaia. But then they finance all the atheist groups to tell people there's nothing. So they really want to turn people off from a true spiritual experience, don't they?
That's exactly right. There is a world of difference between being religious and truly spiritual. A true spiritual person is exactly what the Bible has Jesus saying. Go into your inner chambers or go someplace by yourself and pray by yourself to your Father. You don't need to dance around on a stage with diamond rings and make a fool jumping around. Spirituality is between you and your Creator, and I've always understood that. and I'm just amazed at how many people buy into, never even asking the questions, where are these people getting the money? It's just, I don't have words for it. TBN, typical TBN. They got statues of pagan gods in their yards. Bacchus Dionysus, one of the gods that has been used to represent Satan, is out there in TBN's courtyard. The very symbol that the Christianity has used for the devil is sitting in TBN's courtyard. But consequently, nobody reads, nobody
They also
questions.
have copies of the Babylonian altar in some of their TV shows with plants sitting on it right in front of everybody. The one that was at Ishtar's
right
Gate.
in your face. Absolutely.
What's the name of that altar that the Bible says is Satan's seat? And they have copies of it on TV right in front of you.
Yeah, and the trees all around TBN. As you walk around, you'll see these spiral trees. Those spiral trees all over TBN's lot are called Shiva's phallic. They symbolize in the old Hindu religion the erect phallic of Shiva, the god Shiva. And TBN has them everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see sexual symbols, occult stuff.
And Crouch admittedly has all his homosexual mistresses, but then he speaks out against gay people on his show, and then publicly has all his male mistresses.
And look I used to be, my friend died, but a very bright guy who was just an interesting man. Lived down in Balboa Island, and I used to go down to see him. And he worked at a liquor store. He was very wealthy, but just to have something to do, he worked at a liquor store on the island, Balboa Island. And he used to tell me, I'd go down and sit on the wharf and talk with him about theology and religion. He's a very, very bright guy. And he was telling me, you know, in my liquor store, all the officials from TBN come and buy their booze, and they buy them by cases. Paul and Jane Crouch come down and buy thousands of dollars in booze and whiskey and all kinds, and throw their big parties. And I was just thinking to myself, you know, the people are so stupid.
Trillions are missing from the Pentagon. I have all the government documents where they put cancer viruses in the vaccines, poisons in our water. You tell a yuppie that, and they just laugh at you. It's funny to them. It's funny because they couldn't face the reality of how horrifying it really is. They are cowards. And I'm not somebody full of courage. If somebody's attacking me, I want to stop it. But see, these cowards are so cowardly, they could have a lion ripping their guts out, and they'd probably deny it and go into a blackout and say, a lion isn't tearing my guts out. Kind of like the fella being tortured in Brazil. He goes off into La La Land. And at the end of the film, they're cutting his hand off, and he's sitting there humming happily in his mind, and they say, oh, he's left us, I'm afraid. You know, the public has left us, I'm afraid. Jordan Maxwell, your take on the comments I just made.
Boy, I can't comment on it because you said exactly what I'm thinking. That's precisely the point, that the public has left their sanity. They have been robbed of their sanity and their humanity, and I don't know what to do about it. At this point, I just do the best I can to try and help people who want to be helped. Those who don't want to hear, they're not going to hear it anyway. So,
finishing up with Crouch, though, I grew up by Bob Tilton, Larry Lee, a bunch of other preachers, and I didn't see the Lees doing a bunch of partying, but with Tilton and some others, I mean, I saw incredible stuff that I won't even say on air in our neighborhood.
Oh, I know. I can imagine. That's what I'm talking about. But people love it. I mean, every time you turn on television, the place is just crowded with people, and they're just enjoying it. And what it just blows my mind on this is that you see thousands and thousands of people, you know, coming to these churches to listen, and they're learning nothing. Actually, intellectually learning nothing. And, and 20 years later, they're still jumping around, singing hymns and loving the Lord, and have no idea in the world
that the Lord is Baphomet.
Yeah, it's just incredible ignorance. People who cannot read, they don't think, they don't question anything. It's just, and that's why the entire human race is going under, because the human family have lost their ability to even think